Hello, I'm Catherine and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if this is a return visit. I'm so glad to have you here today. So I have you pulled in close already, and I'm going to actually keep the video like this because today is more of a technique video. I recently read an article that came up on my email. I guess I'm subscribed to Oprah.com, and the title of the email really drew me in. The title was 10 Makeup Mistakes That Add 10 Years. And I thought, this is really interesting. So what I thought I would do is I'm going to go through each of the 10 mistakes. I'm going to apply the mistakes on the left side of my face, and I'm going to keep the right side of my face mistake-free. And at the end, I'm going to look crazy, that's for sure. But hopefully we're going to be able to see if what they're saying is true and if we agree with all of these mistakes. So if that sounds interesting to you, and if you would like to know more about how to have your makeup actually make you look younger, not older, then stay tuned. Mistake number one is using too much foundation. I have talked about this quite a bit on my channel, that you always want to start with the smallest amount and build up. It's kind of like salt if you are a cook. You can always add more salt, but once you've added too much, you have to basically just scrap the whole thing and start over. The same goes for foundation and concealer we're going to talk about. So I thought I would use a full coverage foundation. This is really not about the products in this video. It's really more about technique, but I'm going to be using this Tarte Amazonian Clay, which is a thick and a full coverage foundation. So on this side of my face, the left side, I'm going to be applying too much. And on this side, I'm going to be applying just the right amount. So I'm going to squeeze some out of my hand. This is a very moussey, thick texture. And here I'm just going to put a bunch of foundation. I don't want this video to be where I just apply makeup incorrectly, but I want you to see how adding too much foundation really makes a difference. So as you can see, this foundation clearly blanks out my skin. This is a very nice full coverage foundation. I'm not trying in this video to look clownish. I actually am trying to show you what I think some people are actually doing and the difference that it can make when you do it correctly. So you can see how much coverage I have on this face. This side is totally blanked out. Now we're going to cover this side, but instead I'm just going to add the smallest amount here and there. I'm going to get a new foundation brush and I'm going to make that amount stretch. I'm going to focus this foundation on the areas where I need more coverage. I don't need a lot of coverage on my forehead, so I'm just going to put a little bit here. Now, as you can see, I used the smallest amount for this side of my face. And you can see, it's still evened out, but it looks a little bit more like skin, whereas this one you can already see right here, sinking right into those wrinkles. Whereas here, it's looking smooth and it's looking blended, but it's not sinking into the wrinkles. Now, this one is absolutely blanked out. You can still see a little bit of pores here, but my sunspot's still covered up. I've put a little extra where I feel like I need it, but I used, I would say, not even half of a full little squirt of this, and I got that kind of coverage. Whereas here I use probably a full squirt, and you can see the coverage. I think it's most telling, I'm gonna pull you in right here, the most telling right here around my mouth. Mistake number two, over concealing your under eye circles. All right, I've talked about this quite a bit too. So I'm going to be using Tarte Shape Tape, which is the classic concealer. Again, this really isn't about products, but here I'm going to do kind of that triangular look that a lot of the YouTubers have done for a long time. And I've really put a lot there. It's going to brighten. It's going to cover. Believe me, it's going to cover. So it covered up those dark circles, that's for sure. And here I'm going to do just a little bit here and a little bit here, which is what I normally do. Using a sponge, I feel like really helps so that you don't have too much. But as you can see, same thing. I've got the dark circles covered, but so much more under here, all sinking in. And we'll keep watching for that. But my dark circles are covered. You can see the difference there. Mistake number 4 is finishing with powder. Now, I don't 100% agree with this. I do think too much powder or not applied in the correct way can definitely sink right into your fine lines and wrinkles. But I also think that powder can really help your makeup stay put and look finished for the whole day too. So I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Translucent because that's just a classic powder. And I'm just going to be using a loose brush here. But on this side, I'm going to be putting quite a bit in the brush and really setting this down with a lot of powder. On this side, I'm going to use the same brush, but I'm going to put just the smallest amount, really work it into the brush, take off any excess, and I'm just going to lightly press it, in particular kind of in my T-zone, on my nose. This will help my makeup last a little longer and stay put on my face. So I am a big proponent of powder, even though they say don't use powder at all. I feel like powders have really changed. They used to be so cakey and so heavy. Now they're so much more finely milled, but overdoing powder is what I think is the problem. And you can see I've really kind of caked on that powder here. There was no mention of bronzer in the video. I'm just going to use this Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in Sunlight, and I'm just going to apply that lightly on my face because I always would apply bronzer. The next mistake was skipping blush, which I can't believe anybody would actually do that. I love blush so much, I can't believe anybody would skip it. So I'm not going to put any blush on this side of my face, but I am going to put this Tarte Amazonian Clay Peach Blush. This is in the shade Peaceful on this side. Now, what does blush do? Well, blush brings life to your face. After you've put on a foundation and kind of evened out your skin tone, you want to add a little bit of life back into your face. The key though, and I'll tell you, is you want to do it up a little higher so you can get a lift from the blush. But you will see this will just add the lightest amount of life back into my face. No blush on this side. Can't imagine doing that, but I'm doing that for this video for you guys. The next mistake is choosing an eyebrow pencil that is too dark. This is a struggle for a lot of people. So I have an eyebrow pencil here that is too dark for me, and I have one that is the perfect shade for me. Okay, so this one is slightly too dark for me, and this one is the right shade for me. And again, I'm going to be showing you half a face and half a face so you can see, but I want to frame my eyes, but I don't want this kind of Groucho Marx effect with these huge eyebrows sticking out. So getting the right shade to me is the hardest part about finding a good brow pencil. There are great brow pencils both at the drugstore and high-end. The key is finding a shade. And like this one is just too dark. It's too warm toned and it's too dark for my eyebrows, whereas this one, it should look soft and it should look natural. They did not mention anything about eyeshadow in this list of mistakes, so I'm just actually going to use this bronzer and put it all over the lid on both of these just to kind of have somewhat of a base, but that's not really the point of this video. I will say, as I'm putting this on, if I had to pick an eyeshadow mistake, it would be applying too much of a cream shadow where you get a lot of eye creasing. That can age you quite a bit. So you really want to make sure when you're using a cream shadow to start small and build, just like with foundation and concealer. Okay, so now we're going to talk about eyes. To me, this is just one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making, and they really do age you. So the first one they said was using a black eyeliner and also using it on the top and the bottom. Everything that I'm going to talk to you about today is all about the lift. It's like with the blush, we want lift, right? We don't want it here where it's dragging our face down. We want a lift. So the same thing goes with the eyes. I like to get some definition here on my lash line, but when I put liner here and here, which we're going to see, it's going to drag and bring my eye down. It's going to make my eye look smaller and it's going to bring it down. Whereas when I just put it here, I can get some lift. The same thing with mascara, which is the next mistake we're going to talk about. The mistake is putting mascara on the top and the bottom lashes, which I did for years. And now I just exclusively put it on my top lashes. It's very rare that I use anything on the bottom lashes. So again, it's about the lift. When you put the mascara just on your top lashes, you get lift. When you put it here and here, it drags it down. We're fighting gravity, girls. We are fighting gravity. I'm gonna take a black eyeliner from Urban Decay. I really rarely ever use a black eyeliner. I'm gonna show you how this affects your eye shape and the look on your face. So you can see, very dark. It's lined my lashes. If I just stopped there, I'd be fine. And to me, the black is fine with this, especially if you were doing a smoky eye. But now I'm gonna go down below and I'm gonna line down below. So I want you to see this eye has nothing on it, and you can see the difference. Now I'm going to show you by using a brown eyeliner, which is much softer. This is the Makeup by Mario brown liner. And I'm just going to use that right against the lash line. And that is the difference. So you can see how this eye looks more open. I feel like it even looks brighter. And as we do the mascara, you'll see too, everything is gonna seem more lifted on this side. I'm gonna curl the lashes. I'm just using this Fenty mascara. I think you see a huge difference in the eyes, especially when we'll do the swapping back and forth, but you can just see what a difference it has made to not have that dark line underneath, which really just drags your face down. The next mistake is going overboard with lip liner, which I agree. I'm just gonna be using the NYX Nude Truffle, and on this half of my lips, I'm going to be going overboard with the lip liner, and this one, I'm gonna be more subtle and blending it in. Okay, you can already see a big difference there just with that lining. The next lip tip that they gave was they said that wearing dark colors ages you. I really don't think I agree with that at all, but I'm gonna use the same formula of lipstick. These are both from Bare Minerals, but this shade is called Presence and it is a deeper shade. This shade called Insight is more of a light nude. The other mistake they mentioned that people make with lipstick is going directly on your lips with the lipstick tube and not using a lip liner. I don't know about that. I think it depends on the lipstick, to be honest, but I'm gonna use just a shadow brush, and I'm gonna do that with the lighter shade. With this darker shade, I'm gonna go directly in with the bullet. So that's the darker shade. And now I'm gonna go in with Insight. I'm gonna use a brush for that. I definitely didn't cake too much on using the brush, so maybe that's their point in saying that. Okay, so this is my crazy finished effect. I'm gonna split this up so that you can see both side by side. This is the side with all of the mistakes. Too much foundation, too much concealer, lots of powder, dark lipstick, overly lined, black eyeliner on the upper and the bottom lash lines, mascara on the bottom and on the top lashes, and too dark of an eye pencil. So here, and no blush. Sorry, I forgot no blush. So this is the mistake side. Now I'm going to show you the one without the mistakes. Does this look more youthful? Does this look better, more put together? I mean, I think so, but I'm very curious what you think. I'd like a conversation with you guys in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think these mistakes do age you? Or do you have other mistakes that you'd like to share? Because I'd like to hear them all. And maybe we could try out more. I'd be happy to try out even more. But I thought this was an interesting conversation. I definitely think the eyeliner, I mean, it makes a huge difference. And I think the mascara too, I think it does really bring you down. I can't imagine anybody not wanting to wear blush. Come on, it's the best. I don't know if I agree with the dark lipstick. I don't think that necessarily ages you, but I will say, and I'll bring you in so you can see my lips, this one where I use the bullet, you can definitely see my lip lines more than where I use the lip brush. So maybe it's really more amount that you're putting on your lips. This one doesn't seem to have as many lines. I think overlining your lips definitely can make a huge difference. The brow pencil, I already said. Powder, I think, is critical. They say use no powder unless you are incredibly dry. I need a little bit of powder, and it really does set your makeup down. And of course, foundation and concealer, we know when you go overboard there, it's just gonna settle, like right here. It's just settled right into these lines. And this side, not so much, feels smooth. This side feels tacky. Even here, you can see all this settling right into my lines, whereas here, not so much. So I think this was an interesting article and I really wanted to try it out. Again, let me know what you think below. If you like me trying out these different kinds of techniques, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love for you to. Come join us. We're having a lot of fun here on my channel. I love meeting all of you and getting to know you and getting to know your makeup preferences. I can't tell you how many great tips I have learned from you all down in the comments below. So keep bringing those tips. I love them. As always, I enjoyed spending some time with you here today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.